good morning and welcome to Tech Tuesday. I'm Sarah. I work here at People's Resource Center. I work upstairs in our development office, so I help with all different various fundraising activities and events that go on here at People's Resource Center. Today's topic is Facebook. How many people here are familiar with Facebook? Anybody? A little bit? Does anybody have an account actually set up yet? Perfect. We're going to get set up with accounts today then too. So I'll go ahead and I'm going to briefly go through some slides that talk about what Facebook is and how it impacts your life. And then we'll get into some hands-on meaty stuff so you can actually play around in it and have the opportunity to try Facebook out. But basically, Facebook is social media. It's a social networking website, and it brings us all together. So you can share information with your family, with your friends. You can find out about information about things that are going on at People's Resource Center or any other organization that's out there. So if you are looking for a job, it's a great place to go and take a look and connect up with some agencies to learn more about that agency and what's going on in their community at that particular point in time. So for us at People's Resource Center last week on Facebook, we posted our phone system is down. Our phone system's back up. So it was just a way that we could communicate because we clearly couldn't pick up the phone and call people and tell them that our phone was down. But people go to our website and they go to our Facebook page, and that's a great way for us to communicate with them, and we can communicate with all of our friends and fans on Facebook. Social media, and Facebook in particular, there's all different types of social media platforms. There's Twitter, there's Instagram, there's Google+, there's Facebook, and there's a few more that are out there. But today we're going to focus on Facebook, and Facebook has over 1 billion users around the world, so it's not just the US. In your packets, there's some definitions about Facebook that are popular, and I'll talk a little bit about those. A comment on Facebook is your personal comment. It's something that you can type when somebody makes a comment out there for the world. You can comment back to them, just like I'm commenting with you right now. A friend is somebody that you want to connect with or somebody you want to add. Just like you would be my friend, you can ask me to be your friend on Facebook. Mary would be my friend, and she might reciprocate and ask me to be a friend. So just like real life. A like is when you put a post or like a comment out there. A comment and a post are exactly the same thing. And somebody likes it. They give it a thumbs up. They like what you said. So that's basically what a like is. There's different types of likes. So there's also likes for pages, Facebook pages. So PRC is a Facebook page, which is different than a Facebook account, or a Facebook page that you have. So it's a business page, more or less. So if I like Facebook, I'm adding to their fans. So I'm liking that particular business, not just one person in the business, but the whole business, the business as a whole. Newsfeed, this is where you can quickly see everybody's messages that they've been putting out through the day. And you can customize how you see your newsfeed. Perhaps you only want to see things that are from your friends, or things that are trending, or they're popular, or maybe you don't want to see too much advertisement. So you might adjust how your newsfeed looks. In particular, no one's news feeds are the same. So what you have who you have friends with and who you have friends with will determine how your news feeds populates. Notifications is just like it sounds. So on your mobile device, you get a buzz or a ping or a sound when you get a text message, or somebody's calling you on the phone, it rings, or you get an email, you get you've got mail, or some similar notification. Same thing with Facebook. You're going to get a little notification symbol in the top of your page that lets you know you've got a new friend, or somebody sent you a message, or they want to chat with you. So that's something that we'll go into a little bit further. Status updates, this is just you telling the world what's going on in your life, or just your cluster of friends. It depends on how you set your Facebook settings up. If you set it up for the world to see, then the whole world can see your status. If you just set it up for a small group of friends to see, then just your small groups of friends are going to see. But it's just a short text base. There's no character limits. You can also put pictures out there. You can talk about friends. You can put a link in there. So your status updates can include all different types of pieces. a tag. So if you and I were to take a picture together, I'd want to tag you in that picture. So now all your friends that you're friends with can see you. So let's, for example, Mary and I are in a picture together. I post the picture through my status update, and now I'm going to tag Mary in that picture. So now not only do my friends see it, but now all of Mary's friends see it because I've tagged Mary in that picture. So it's a little tricky to understand when you're looking at it just black and white text, but when we get into the application, it'll make more sense. And then the timeline is very similar to the news feed, but the timeline is specific to your page and what you see. So you can go back in your timeline or your friend's timeline and see everything they've ever posted, unless they deleted it out, which even if you delete it out, sometimes you can still find it if somebody saved it somewhere on their computer. So be really careful about what you put out there to the world, and we'll talk a little bit more about that. But no two timelines are going to look alike because none of us are the same unless you and I were to put the exact same thing up at the exact same time every single day. Our timelines are always going to be a little bit different. So why do we use Facebook? Simply to connect with people. We want to learn more about what's going on in people's lives, or you want to learn about a job or an organization, or learn what's going on in your community, sign up for a program, get into an application. So there's all different types of reasons why we integrate with Facebook. But in essence, it's you, then you have a friend, then your friends have friends, and then they have their friends, and then they have a second cousin who's related to Justin Bieber. So now all of a sudden you're friends with Justin Bieber and you didn't even know it. Not all the time it works that way, but that's kind of just a way to talk about how Facebook works. So it really opens the door to seeing a lot of folks out there. In my particular experience, when I've seen people using Facebook, they're going back to their college or their high school days, and they're trying to find friends that they lost contact with over the years and want to reconnect with, or family members that might live in other parts of the country or the world, and they just want to connect with them. For me, I'm friends with pretty much anybody that I walk into life and get to know, and then we become friends on Facebook because they're on Facebook, and it helps me learn a little bit more about them because I want to know who they are, what makes them tick, who are their friends, what do they like to do, because that helps me build that bond and that friendship there. This is Mark Zuckerman. He's the CEO of Facebook, and the mission of Facebook is to give people the power to share and make the world more open and connected. So just like what we talked about a minute ago. The Facebook head, I just like to give a little bit of facts about Facebook, which is always fun to know about. This talks about Facebook has over 750 million users and spend over 700 billion minutes a month on Facebook. So these numbers are a little outdated because Facebook is now over 1 billion users, so I'm sure this number has gone up a little bit. But the frequency you can see of how much people are updating on a day-to-day basis. Some people do it like all the time because the more you update, the more your posts are going to show up in your friends' feeds, in their news feeds. The less you update, the less they're going to know about you, which is good or bad, depends on how you want to do it. Not surprisingly that we have all females in the class today who want to learn about Facebook because Facebook is predominantly a little bit more female based, but hopefully out in the World Wide Web we have some males watching today's taping and they get engaged with Facebook. 70% of the Facebook users are outside of the US, so it's really cool because I've connected with people that I may have put an order in online or over the telephone with, and I'm like, hey, are you on Facebook? Yes, I am. Cool, we can connect. Now I know what that person looks like rather than just like I'm talking to them on the phone, so I can interact with them on Facebook and they can learn more about People's Resource Center. 2,000 plus employees work at Facebook, so it's not just a few people that work there, it's a lot of people who work at Facebook who make sure things are running on a day-to-day basis, and they're continuing to think of new ways and innovation to make communicating to the world easier or more difficult for you, just depends on the day. Ranked number 2 in web trafficking, and then 33% of Facebook users and downwards talks about the income level that's uses Facebook. So there's a little bit of a digital gap there, but by coming to classes like this helps you connect with Facebook and become part of that percentage that's connecting in the Facebook world. So why do we use Facebook? We want to see updates from our friends, of course, in their posts. I got to see somebody had pictures that they took when they were out in wilderness, and it was a snowy night, so they put information up about that. We want to share videos and photos with our friends. We want to share information on our profile page, and we'll get into these applications later. We want to invite friends to join groups and events. So you might have an event that you're going to host. Maybe you're going to have a party at your house or something, or you're going to have a book club meeting here at PRC, and you want to invite people to come to that event. So you can use Facebook to do basically an RSVP, an invitation, invite them through Facebook to come to it. You can also set up a group. So maybe you only want a small group of people together and you want to talk about a common subject together. So you start a group and everybody talks together in that group, but nobody else in the public knows the group exists if you keep it private. Or if you open it up. It just depends on how you set your settings for groups. But groups is more used for smaller topic areas. By no means is a group considered small. You can have a very intimate small group, and you can have a group that has hundreds of thousands of followers. So it just depends on how you want to set your group up. Chatting with friends. So you can sit on here and you can chat with friends. You can do this on a computer. So for those of you who are not aware, Facebook can be used on a computer. It can be used on your mobile device by downloading the app on your device. It can also be used on a tablet. So if you have a tablet at home, you can use it on your tablet as well. Play games. I got addicted to Farmville at one point in time, and I had to set myself alarms to get up and harvest my wheat in the middle of the night. So everybody kind of maybe finds a game that connects with them out there. So maybe you like to play Boggle or Word Finds, or you like to do Sudoku. So there's all different types of games that Facebook offers too. Mine particular interest at some point in time happened to be Farmville, and I had a beautiful farm. And then I finally had to disconnect to it and get back to reality because I just didn't have time to harvest wheat anymore or put sunflower seeds in the ground.
I'm just curious, is that one of the money makers for Facebook?
So that is it. Facebook does sell components of their applications out there for them to make money, but their biggest maker of money is advertisements. So you'll see as we dive into it a little bit deeper, I'll have advertisements on the side of the page that kind of go with what I've just been looking at in the web. So I don't know what I was just researching lately, but you'll probably see some cube ads over here for maybe toddler dresses because I was looking for a dress for my daughter. So that's how they do make their money, is advertisement or boosted posts. So individual pages, which you'll have, or personal pages, which is what you'll have, you won't be able to do boosted posts. However, somebody like an organization like People's Resource Center, we want to boost our posts sometimes because we want it to reach a bigger network than just who we have as our friends and our fans. So it's like basically paying for a magazine advertisement, except it's nowhere near as expensive sometimes. So it's a little bit more cost effective. But yeah, the apps, you certainly get so many things for free, and then you have to start buying components of it. Like, to make for example, going back to Farmville, to make my wheat harvest faster, I could pay for some coins for my wheat to harvest faster. Or I could just wait 48 hours for my wheat to harvest and then I could harvest it. So, or for my wheat to grow and then I could harvest it. So I hope, does that answer your question? Okay. Connect with businesses and celebrities. There shouldn't be any cost to doing that. There should be no cost to connecting with friends, no cost to connecting with businesses and celebrities. Simply you're liking their page and then their information shows up in your feed. So Whole Foods, Target, Jewel, wherever you like to shop, everybody's got a Facebook page out there. In fact, Jewel will have very specific to their actual site location. So Jewel on Geneva Road or Jewel on Naperville Road. So you'll see that there's very specific sites sometimes, or an organization says, We just want to have one unified voice and one unified look, and we're just going to have one Facebook page for the entire agency and not have separate Facebook pages per site. Social plugins, we talked about this a little bit, but social plugins, kind of similar to apps and games, is basically being able to pull in history or information like CNN, ABC, WGN. That kind of information can be pulled up here for plugging in with different news media is kind of how more or less I look at that. Celebrities too, so they use social plugins. You can connect your account with other sites. This one is particularly for Rotten Tomatoes, which is for movie scores. So I'm a movie person. I like to go watch movies, and Rotten Tomatoes will give you a score on the movie, whether it was good or bad. So I can connect in with this. So I can log in with my Facebook account. Let's say I don't have an account with Rotten Tomatoes, and I don't want to set up all the setup pages. I just want to look, and they have like a little login with Facebook. Great. Now I don't have to set up my account with them. I can log in. They're going to pull all my information from Facebook. I don't have to fill out their form again and waste my time with that. So good and bad, because now they can connect to my Facebook page, and if I haven't set my privacy settings to a certain degree, they might be able to post on my behalf and say, hey, Sarah likes Rotten Tomatoes. Sarah endorses this movie. Sarah likes this movie. Sarah doesn't like this movie. So you just have to be careful of when you log into this, that you read everything that says that they're going to do. Like they're going to post on your behalf, or they're not going to post on your behalf. 99% of the time, they're not going to post on your behalf, but it's the 1% that slips through, and then you forget about it. So, excuse me. Well, we talked about this already a little bit, so I'm not really going to go too deep into it. But Facebook allows you to send messages, post status updates. It allows you to keep in touch with your family and your friends. You can connect photos, you can link websites on there with videos, all different types of things. So you're just communicating. You're just getting in touch with the world. We're going to go a little bit more into privacy settings. I always find this is important to do, and I'm actually going to show you a quick video because I get tired of talking. I'll give you something else to listen to for a little bit.
You may have heard about the complex and sometimes controversial issue of privacy on Facebook, but have you given any thought to the level of privacy you're comfortable with? It's different for everyone. Take Judy and Brian. Judy uses Facebook primarily to keep up with friends and family. She prefers more privacy because that way she can talk about her personal life, but still keep her private life private. Brian, on the other hand, uses Facebook a lot for networking, making new connections, and socializing in a very open way. He prefers less privacy because for him, putting himself out there is what it's all about. There are 3 different places where you can control your privacy on Facebook: under privacy settings for your account, on individual posts, and on your profile. Each item has its own set of options, so you can pick and choose what you want to share. These options may seem confusing at first, but once you know what they mean, you should have no problem customizing your account. Let's take a look at the 6 most common options you'll find while adjusting your privacy. The first is Friends, which is a popular choice for a lot of content on Facebook. Basically, this option will protect the item in question so only the people you've added as friends can see or interact with it. Friends is the perfect choice for things that you want to share, just not with people you don't know. Another similar option is Lists. Lists let you organize your friends into groups, so when you share something with one of them, for example, with your close friends but not your coworkers, only the people in that list will be able to see it. This gives you the freedom to share what you want, but not necessarily with everyone you know. The next option, Friends of Friends, is slightly less secure. It extends access not only to your friends, but also to their friends. This can include people you don't know, even people you've deliberately chosen not to connect with. Therefore, you should only use this option if you feel comfortable sharing with anyone your friends may have connected with. Public is the least secure option. It allows everyone on Facebook and on the web to view your profile, activity, and other information. It also opens you up to third-party applications and advertisers. Only Me, on the other hand, is the complete opposite. It prevents everyone but you from seeing the information in question. For example, you may want to be the only person who can see photos that you've been tagged in. That way, you don't have to worry about anything embarrassing or unflattering showing up on your profile. The last option is custom. This setting lets you decide on an individual basis who has access to your content. It's especially useful for things like your contact information, photos, and other details that you want to share with some of your friends, but not all of them. You won't necessarily find these options attached to every item on Facebook. Sometimes you'll only have one or two to choose from. Sometimes you'll find what you're looking for under Custom instead. You'll also find the options are slightly different across the web. For instance, have you ever been to a site that lets you like or share things directly to your timeline? How about a site that lets you sign in with Facebook instead of creating a new account? There's actually a word for this feature. It's called the Facebook platform, and it can impact your privacy in a couple different ways. Some sites use the platform to connect your account to their services. Others use it to customize your experience based on your personal info. To protect yourself, always read the description that's provided, including the site's privacy policy, and don't agree to anything you're not comfortable with. You can view or edit your connections to other sites by signing into your account. In short, the key to understanding privacy on Facebook is simple. You control what you share based on the choices you make. Now you know what to look for and what all the different settings mean.
Okay. So they just really highlighted everything that we needed to talk about as far as privacy and why it's important. But really, it's just you don't want information out there for people to see. You better make sure you're not putting it on Facebook, and that's my word of advice to everybody, because more now than ever, employers, that's the first place that they're looking is Facebook to see if you have posted information up there about yourself. So if you don't want them to know that you have kids, or you don't want them to know where you live, or even something as simple as like I went on vacation. I didn't let anybody know that I was on vacation in Facebook because I don't know who's out there. My account's public, so I don't want somebody who potentially could be robbing my house knowing that I'm on vacation. And so I'm on vacation, I'm not home, my door is locked, but my house is wide open, nobody's home except for my fish, so come on in. So that's why I'm really careful about what I do and do not put on Facebook, but just think about that for yourself and think through different scenarios before you post it on Facebook as a precautionary. And they talked about that third-party websites. For the most part, those websites are doing good things in customizing your experience, but every now and again, they might post on your behalf. A friend of mine had no idea that she had signed up for some kind of pants website for like workout pants, and I'm like, man, you must really like these pants. You're talking all about them all the time. And she's like, what are you talking about? I'm like, here's my feed. It's showing me that you love these pants. And she's like, I had no idea. I had pressed liked for this particular company and said it's okay to use my profile. So they were using her profile to send out advertisement information. So I was really interested in the pants. They sounded pretty cool, but for her, she didn't want advertisement on her Facebook page. Pardon me.
Is there a way to undo that once you find out that it's happening?
Yep. You can absolutely undo that. If something happens and you need to re-pull it back, you just go back into your settings and you look to who you've approved to set on to post on your behalf, and you just delete it out, or you just modify it accordingly if you need to do so. So I'll show you the settings page when we get into some hands-on activity. So again, public, everybody can see it. Friends, just your friends. Lists, if you make lists in there, it's just the people on those lists, and just only me is just going to be you. So you're going to get to this page here, and it's going to say sign up. Facebook is free. There's no cost to sign up for it. If anybody were to ask you for a credit card to sign up for it, you're in the wrong place. Pardon me. Simply, you're going to need your first name, your last name. You can either put your email or your mobile phone number in there. If you're somebody who is not a huge mobile phone user and doesn't like to get a whole lot of notifications on your mobile phone, use your email. I use my email. I don't use my mobile phone because I don't want to have messages coming to my mobile phone all hours of the day. You're going to re-enter that email because they want to make sure that it's correct. You'll want to enter a password and make sure your password is secure. Don't just use your first name or your home address. Make sure your password is something that you're going to remember, but also difficult so I don't know. I can't crack into it. So Your birth date, they ask for your birth date because it helps for your experiences, and they also want to make sure that you are of age to be on Facebook because there is an age limitation on there. And then female, male. Of course, if you want to read through all their terms and conditions, you're more than welcome to do so. But once you go ahead and get everything filled in, you can click sign up. So 2 of you are on this page right now, and you have a little pop-up box that says this. It says connect with friends. I can't read exactly what it says, but it will allow Facebook to go into your personal email account and pull all your contacts over and help you connect with your friends. For now, just skip it. There's a little button in the corner that says skip it. You can always go back and do that again later.
Or next.
Or next. Next. What you can do is you can search for friends who are on Facebook already by putting in your email and then finding additional friends. Or you can skip through that for a few minutes, and we'll kind of go back to that. The next step on there is your privacy settings. I really want to set in on that first before you start searching for your friends and put your name out there. So go ahead and hit your different privacy that you want to have set. You can set it to public, to friends, only you, or to lists, whatever you go ahead and choose to do. So that page also includes creating your profile picture. It tells you how you can add your picture and take your photo if you want to sit through the little tutorials, but we're going to go through those things in a few minutes. And then creating your profile information. So this is going to include, like, where did you live, where did you go to school, where do you currently live, what maybe further school did you go to, who's your employer.
How did I get to?
Okay, and so that just gives a little bit, that will help Facebook find your friends in the world and give you suggestions in the future when we fill that out a little bit later. Connecting and finding friends, this is where you can start to enter people's names and their emails, and we're going to go into this a little bit more, but I'm going to have you hold for just a second. We're going to finish up the tutorial part, and then I'll kind of come back with you and help you navigate individually back there. So this is the navigation bar on Facebook. You'll see it here, and I'm actually going to pull up mine so you can see it in live person too. All right, so this is what we talked about a little bit earlier, this is my feed here. So, there we go. So this is my news feed. This is all my friends that I have on Facebook, and I'm able to go down and I can read just by scrolling and seeing what people are writing about. Here, my friend, this is my cousin. She posted a picture from her wedding, or a wedding that she went to, and that looks like a friend of hers. So there's some comments that are underneath them that are probably not appropriate, but somebody had a baby recently, so they posted a picture of their new baby so everybody in the world can see their new baby, or just their friends depending on how they have their settings set. And you can see people were commenting, sweet baby, looks content, way too sweet, such a cutie. So that I can go in there and put something as well. I can leave a comment and say, beautiful. And now I've commented back to that person who posted the picture up. But this is basically, when you log into Facebook, this is what you're going to see, minus the middle. Your middle is going to be different than my middle. It's going to be different people, different friends. At the top here, this is our toolbar. There's a little picture of me. That's my profile picture that I currently have set, and we'll go through that in a few minutes. Home, this brings us back to the home page, which that's the home page. We are just on it. So literally how we talked about people are putting information out there quickly. You saw that my page already changed. People already posted something brand new, so that information all changed. This little button here is friend requests. These are people who might be asking to be my friend. So John Morales, he has 3 mutual friends of mine, and I might want to see who those are just to make sure that they're a reliable person or somebody that I connect with and somebody that I know, not just somebody who's a stranger out there that I have no connection with or have no recollection of. So I would just want to do a little bit of searching to make sure that we're connecting in a good, wholesome way. And then I can confirm or I can delete the requests, however I so choose to do so. Facebook has really got a lot of things built behind the scenes. It's got a lot of tables and information that's built up behind the scenes that's able to connect you with all different people that you might be connected with. So for example, Barbara Richards, she's not necessarily asking to be my friend, but Facebook is suggesting that, hey, maybe I know Barbara Richards and I should add her as a friend. Or maybe I don't know Barbara Richards and I'm just going to remove her and then the next person comes up. So if Barbara Richards ever watches this video, we're great friends, but I'm going to remove you for now just for this example. So now you see that they added more people to my list for me to take a look into and see if those are friends of mine. But that's just basically the friends button up there. This button is a message button. You see it up here. It looks just like a little message icon, and it's telling me, it's giving me a notification. We talked about that a little bit ago. That I have a message. So, and a friend of mine sent me a message. So I need to go and respond and read it or respond to it.
But Sarah, if there's messages, your friends can't see that, just you.
Correct. Messages are private. So they're between you and the people or the person that you're talking with. It's not necessarily to the public. A comment or a post, that can be public. So if I'm putting something on my post or my wall, my feed, my news feed, public. Anybody can see it that I have allowed to see it. Messages, private. It's like you and me sending an email, quick chat back and forth. Notifications, this little globe, that's going to tell me all different things that I might want to know quickly that I don't necessarily want to read through my newsfeed to find out. Like this morning I posted a photo. So in this particular picture, it was never a dress. It's a Superwoman. So on that particular picture, it's telling me that some people liked it, and these are my friends that liked it, and there's 6 more friends that liked it. But I was able to tell that from my notifications. It said, Lorena and Jan and 7 other people liked your picture. I couldn't remember what picture it was, so then I clicked it, and it brought me to the picture that I posted. I was like, oh yeah, I posted that picture this morning. This morning I also made a post, just a regular post, that talked about my husband got up to make cereal, and he didn't grab a spoon, he grabbed a fork. So I put lack of sleep equals Brian trying to eat cereal with a fork. Smiley face, hashtag toddler life. Hashtags, we're not going to go into too deeply here, but that's basically brings everything together on a particular topic everywhere in the World Wide Web. So if I click on this hashtag, somebody else might have used the same thing and said toddler life, and so I can see anything that anybody else who used that same exact hashtag. For People's Resource Center, we have a hashtag. It's People's RC. Hashtag People's RC. And that just collects the anything that anybody's out there talking about us about. It brings it all together. Who used the hashtag? If you don't use the hashtag, I had to manually go out there and search for information. So it's an easy way to bring information together. And that was just me being funny. I just hashtag toddler life. I can click on it. I don't know if anything's going to pop up. But apparently it does. Somebody else has hashtag toddler life. So other people, friends in particular, are putting hashtag toddler life, and I didn't even know it. Must have been a subliminal message in the middle of the night.
Sorry, to go back when you were choosing your friends,
Uh-huh.
you deleted her, but if you would have chosen her as
Yeah. Do you want me to show you that?
particular person, now would that go to her and
No.
ask her?
Oh, if I chose her,
Yeah.
yes. It would go to her and say, hey, Sarah asked to be your friend. Can she be your friend? And they have to choose yes or no.
Okay.
Just like you saw here for me. Confirm. So John asked to be my friend, and I have to either confirm or delete his request. So if I delete his request, it's not going to send back to him and say, no, she didn't accept it. It's just going to continue to show up as, hey, you can ask this person to be your friend. This person can be your friend. unless you choose to block that person that's out there and you just don't want them ever to see your name or your profile. And that particular item can be set up in your privacy shortcuts, which is right here. So we talked about privacy a little earlier. And this is privacy button, so that little lock with the little dashes next to it. So you can click on that and who can see your posts, who can contact me. So everybody, I have it set out there, everyone can contact me. Maybe I don't want to have it set that way in the future. So these are just very basic shortcuts. There's many, many, many more settings and shortcuts. As you click into,
Those are the most common.
yeah, those are the common ones. But if you set the see more settings, it'll bring you to a whole lot more information where you can customize it to what your likings are even further. But let's go back to my home, which is that news feed that we talked about. Now Brenda Spitzer's up there. Brenda's a friend of mine. We worked together in another job that I had. She posted a new picture. So now I'm seeing Brenda's information.
So it always goes to the top.
It always goes to the top. So whatever is new and up and coming, that it goes to the top. You can customize that if you want to, but that's how I have mine set, is just as soon as a friend posts it, it comes up on my Facebook page so I can see it. On the left here, you can see all the things that are kind of like, they're customized to me. So I can go here and edit my profile, which we'll go do it individually. I just kind of want to give you the meats and potatoes of it, and then we'll dive in individually for each of you. Messages, so it's the same thing that's here, that little messages box there. It's over here too. Some things are just duplicated depending on where your eye drifts to. Friends, I have different friend groups that I've set up for myself, like friends that work for Wheaton Park District, friends that are in Glen Ellen. I used to work for Schaumburg Park District, so I have different friend groups set up for myself. Here's my apps. Farmville is somewhere in there, and Candy Crush Saga, because I really like Candy Crush. And who doesn't? So the apps that show up here are the apps that you sign up for or you choose to play. So it's not going to be just regular apps that are up there. It'll be what you choose to put up there. But know that if you do end up liking an app, it'll be there for you to click onto. Groups, these are groups that I belong to. I belong to a Moms and Me group, quite a few of them, just because I like to know what's going on in the area and I can take my daughter there. News groups, I belong to a couple different news groups because I want to know what's going on in the community, so like WGN and not CNN, but the Daily Herald, Chicago Tribune. Those are different news groups that I'm signed up for. And that little create a group, so if you wanted to start your own group, you could go ahead and create a group. But we're not going to dive into that today, but maybe Facebook 102. Events, earlier I had talked about you can invite people to events or people can invite you to an event. So here is a message reminder telling me, hey, you have an annual meeting coming up that we invited you to through here. So those are just little things that are coming up that people had invited me to, or again, I can create an event. Pages. These are pages that I like. So if I click into this, you'll be able to see all the different company pages that I like. So Jewel or Target or Whole Foods, Kohl's, People's Resource Center, etc. My Facebook page does look a little bit different. Up at the top here, it shows this favorites of People's Resource Center. Just because I help with the management of People's Resource Center's Facebook page, so I'll see it here a little bit more often. And you just heard a little bing come across the computer. Somebody sent me some kind of notification. Eva also commented on the picture that I just commented on of that little boy that we saw the picture on. So it sent me a little bing. One of your other friends made a comment. So I wrote beautiful. She wrote so precious, and I got a notification that somebody else made a comment. So that kind of is a real live example of a notification. It's not obnoxious or obtrusive, and you can even turn it off so you don't hear them or see them. So it just depends on your settings. I'll share this information with you because it's kind of cool. You can kind of see how a profile page works for an organization, which you wouldn't necessarily be setting up for your, unless you're working for a company that wants you to do that. But People's Resource Center, we have a page in Facebook. And this week we had a post that we put out there, and it reached over 1,500 people. 167 people engaged with our post, which means they either liked it, they shared it, they put a comment underneath it. So we got some good engagement going on in the community with our posts. Our recent posts, we'll go ahead and click on it. We just put information up about giving free haircuts out. So this particular post is what was put out, and it's telling me 367 people, the post reached 367 people, 13 people liked it, 16 people have already clicked on it, and we just posted this 3 hours ago. So you can tell information moves really fast on Facebook and in social media in the World Wide Web. So, but you wouldn't typically see this. It's just to kind of give you a little insight of that back end that I was talking about that we get to see as marketers. So it's kind of fun. It's cool if you're into marketing. Again, on the right-hand side, there's some more customized columns, trending information. Looks like Kate Hudson is going to be on tonight's show starring with Jimmy Fallon. So that's kind of cool to know that if I'm a Kate Hudson fan, I might want to go there and watch that tonight. But this is information that's trending across Facebook. Not necessarily something you're interested in, just what everybody else is talking about. So it's going to give you some trend information. And you can click to different areas. That one just happens to be top trends. There's politics, there's science, there's sports, and there's entertainment. And again, I told you earlier I was looking at dresses online, so now there's that little advertisement box that we talked about. So that's how Facebook is making its money, by these little advertisement boxes from another marketing companies out there. These little pieces on the far right, those are just quick little comments that people are making out there that maybe I don't want to read through my whole news feed down the center, but I'm able to just see, oh, Tom liked Jamie's post, or he posted on his own post. So it's just a quick little glance down that you can see. Down below, in this little right-hand corner here, this is telling me who's actually on Facebook right now by having that little green button there. Not a lot of my friends are on Facebook right now. Some of them are, by that little green button. Sometimes it'll say, like, Mariana, she works upstairs. She was on Facebook just a minute ago, so she must have been on there posting something for People's Resource Center. So it might give me a little timestamp, but most of the time it doesn't give me a timestamp. But that is kind of a little bit of a synopsis of what Facebook is, how it can be used. And I'm going to go ahead and do a little bit more with posting and sharing, so you can kind of watch that for a few more minutes. But then I'll come back there and I'll help everybody with where you're at and what you'd like to learn individually. So Doug the Pug. If you don't know Doug the Pug, he's awesome. He's a lot of fun. I think he's funny. So he's just a celebrity dog that's out there, and he posts every day, or somebody posts for him on his behalf. This is going straight to my buns. Doug. That was his quote. That was his comment, and he also put a picture out there.
And it makes you hungry. So
It does.
Probably go buy that.
Right? So who doesn't want to go eat Portillo's right now? So I like it. I think it's kind of funny because I love Portillo's. And I'm going to comment, love the hot dogs, Doug. Hope you enjoy the chocolate shake. So now I posted that. This Doug celebrity will be able to see it if he's able to, if he chooses to read his comments that day. But now I can share Doug's post, his picture, his post. I can share on my news feed, so now all my friends can see it, and if they share it, their friends can see it. So I'm going to share it. I have choices. I can share it right now. I can put nothing up about it. I can share it with a little bit of a note with it. Or I can send it as a personal message to you, if I so chose to. Right now, I'm going to share it and put a little bit of a note with it. I'm going to put, looks like Doug the Pug likes Portillo's. Doug is smart. Because everybody likes Portillo's, right? I'm going to post it. Okay, so now it's up on my timeline. I went to my own personal profile page. This is my personal profile page. It's up there, and now anybody else who's at home who's a friend of mine or at work and logged into Facebook, they're going to see that I posted Doug the Pug. You can see this is my personal page. I have information. When you first set up your account, it pulls that information in. So there's an About section. It talks about my work, places I've lived, my basic contact information if I want it out there. So I'm public. This information's out there for anybody to see, or only me. So I've selected to only have me see that information. It has my email address out there. It is shared with my friends, because if my friends want to send me something that's a larger file through email, great, they can do that. That's fine. I could add more pictures. I can add other accounts. I can add a website on here. My birth date, my birth year, gender, religious views. You can just go all on and on and on and on about your own information. And at some point in time, I was like, I just want to get started. I really don't feel like filling out all this information. So I just stopped, and I never went back and finished out the rest. Family and relationships, you can set that up if you so choose to. I went ahead and did that. I wanted to put in who my brother was and who my mom and my dad are, and my uncle, my aunts, and my cousins. But that's just an overview of the About Me section. Friends. You can see I have a lot of friends. Right now it has it listed as all friends. I really don't know what how they show up in here. Right now they just show up. I don't know. It's not alpha order. It's not by, how many times we've liked each other's pictures. It just has some random way of showing up. But I can go to recently added, and this will show you 12 new friends that I've just added in the last couple of days. People who've done new posts. So my brother, he just put a new post out there, so I could go over and see that. I can click on birthdays, and I can see, oh, if that's right, my cousin's birthday is tomorrow, so I should either send her a note tonight, or remember to text her tomorrow, or I'll just send her a message through Facebook, or I'll post to her wall, which we'll go back and I'll do in a second so you can see that. Work. I have 22 different friends from work life that are in here, and then college, high school, current city, my hometown, just all depends. These are all people that I grew up with back in the day. You can set up more information through friends. You can set up your own areas that you want to, but these are the standard ones that they use. If you didn't go to college, or you didn't go to high school, or you're not working, no big deal. It's just going to not show any friends underneath there, just because they're going to show them somewhere else in your profile settings. So no worries if that happens. Photos. I love pictures, so I like to post a lot of pictures up on Facebook for people to look at and see. But pictures are really important. Pictures say 1,000 words, and they engage people with you in your conversation. So if I just put the post about Brian, my husband, earlier eating breakfast with his fork instead of a spoon this morning, if I had put a picture of him physically eating the fork, or physically eating the cereal with a fork, he'd probably get a lot more hits and likes, because people just like pictures. It's engaging. It makes you laugh. When you see that picture of him using a fork instead of a spoon, I'd say, what was he thinking? And then I'd be a little bit more engaged to go into the conversation. I got to meet Coach Ditka earlier this year, the coach, so I did a selfie and posted it on Facebook right away, because I thought that was pretty awesome. And you can see all these people, plus 128 more, liked it, and then people commented on it. So, wow, the coach and the rec department, because people used to call me the rec department. So, all different types of pictures. You can put pictures. There's just this one particular area is photos of me, and then there's photos that I've personally posted that are out there, and then there's albums. So albums is where I might want to put all of my pictures. For example, on the side, I do photography. So for some of the clients I work for, I'll put together an entire album and I'll send it to them. So this album that says Barrett 9 months, was when I went and took pictures of my friend's family when their daughter was 9 months. I put it all into one album, so it wasn't individual pictures posting to my timeline, but all in one album, and then I can post just the album, and people could click that and open up all of these different pictures. So otherwise your news feed would just be filled with like 93 photos that were in that particular album. Let's go back to my photos. So this is saying tag Jan Baldwin. Jan is my mom, and we talked about tags earlier. So I can confirm, yep, that's Jan. I'm going to tag her. So now the tag's been added. It's going to send a message over to my mom saying that I tagged her in a picture, so she knows that, and she can either choose to not do anything about it, or she can leave it. She can choose, I'm sorry, not to do anything about it, or she can remove the tag. So if I see a horrible picture of myself out there that somebody's taken from a bad angle, I'm going to untag myself in it. I don't want everybody else in my friend world to see that picture of me. So I would untag it. So here's another picture of my mom. I'm going to tag it. Again, it's just going to send a message over to her. I don't necessarily know whether or not she untags it or not. I might get a phone call later saying, why did you put that picture up of me? But that's just because it's a mom and daughter relationship.
And how do you untag it? Just when you put your mouse over the picture?
So
You have to right click it?
let me go ahead and do that. So down on the bottom, we open this picture, and I'm going to tag myself into it. So here's tag photo. And I'm going to click here. And it gives you kind of some options. So it does do some profiling of the pictures that are on there, and it might start pulling people that they think is that picture. So it pulled my name up there. If not, I can go ahead and type my name in. It starts populating. I can't tag people who I'm not friends with. So if I'm not friends with this guy back here, I can't, even though if I knew his name, if I'm not friends with him, I can't tag him. So it's kind of a little bit of a protection piece that's out there. This is Brian Patrick O'Donnell, that's my husband, so yes, I'm going to tag him. And then this is our daughter. She is not on Facebook, so I wouldn't be able to tag her. Okay, so I've gone ahead and tagged it. Now let's say I know my husband doesn't want to have pictures tagged of him, so I had to open up the full picture. I clicked edit, and now I'll go here and I can delete these people that have been tagged in here. And then done editing. So now if I refresh the page, now it's asking me if I want to tag him. He's no longer tagged in there. Does that make a little bit of sense? And then more, if I have other, so we just went through photos. We went through it a little quickly. We went through photos of me. So those are photos that I've been tagged in. Your photos are pictures that I've actually posted. Albums are albums of complete album photos that I put out there. And then more is other things that I can do. So if I have videos that I wanted to post, if I have check-ins, so if I've gone somewhere and I've checked in, so if I come to People's Resource Center and I say I want to check in and let people know that I'm at People's Resource Center, I can do that. Most of the time people are checking in when they're going to like sporting events or concerts or restaurants, because people want them to know that, hey, I'm at this restaurant and I'm trying it, it's new or something's good, or maybe they just want suggestions of something to eat. So sports, music, TV shows, books, these are all things that I like. So music, it's going to show me these are different musicians that I liked in the past when I've been out there searching that I like to listen to. This button up here is like key. It's huge on Facebook. This is where you can search for somebody. So I'm going to search for Mary Blair. I don't know that she's out there.
I think I'm under my, I'm Mary Blair Freeman because my maiden name is Freeman. And I should have switched them the other way.
Okay, so there she is. It's showing me no profile picture because she's kept that private. She doesn't want me.
You know what I do? I just use it to spy on my 23-year-old daughter.
Okay, so that's another reason why people sign up for Facebook, is because they want to spy on their kids. I'm not advocating that, but if you so choose to do that, more power to you. I'm sure I will be doing that someday myself. So I was able to look up Mary Blair. But let's say I want to look up People's Resource Center. Let me come up with something else. Mariana came up. let's see, I want to look up NAMI DuPage. So here's NAMI. I'm going to click onto their page. And I've already liked it, but let's say I just choose that I'm not going to follow them anymore. I can go ahead and unlike them, but I'm going to like them back again because I really like NAMI DuPage. But there are options out there for you to unlike something if you choose to go that direction. You need to unlike something, or if you need to block somebody. Blocking somebody in particular is set up in your settings. We talked about that being here. You'll do it through your See More settings. So right here, it's one of those popular ones. How do I stop someone from bothering me? So you can block them. I can add, if I wanted to add Mary Blair. So I have to choose to block her. She's no longer going to be able to see things that I put on my timeline, tag me, invite me to events, start a conversation with me, add me as a friend, and if I'm friends, blocking Mary Blair will also unfriend her. It's not going to send her a message, but if you want to send her a message and let her know, you certainly can. But that's the direction I would go to do that. I decided through this little conversation that I'm not going to block Mary Blair, so I'm just going to go ahead and cancel this activity. So I still want her to be able to connect with me on Facebook. And then again, if I click that little Facebook icon, or if I click that little home icon, it brings me right back to this home screen area. So Facebook is a lot of ways to communicate. There's a lot of information out there. It's very powerful. If I'm looking for jobs, I might do like Monster and see, well, Monster Jam, Monster Dash. So there's a lot of things obviously by Monster. So Monster Job Search. So that would be something where I go and I'd be able to find information more about monster.com. Just so you can, it's really anything. You can type anything up in this little search box. Six Flags. I can click on Six Flags. Again, that's a public company, so the other information is going to be out there. I've already liked it. I can read about things that are coming up. They're going to have an entertainment audition. So they're not only posting about things going on at their site, but they're also posting about job opportunities. I'll go to People's Resource Center. So you can see we did the haircut thing a little bit ago, and it's already updating and telling me 381 people have been reached. We talked a little bit ago about so many people had been reached. It was in the lower 300s. Now it's getting even higher. The longer it sits out there, the more it's going to show. We talked about a grant. That was exciting news that we received some funds for our food pantry. So that reached 756 people, and it got shared a couple of times. So different things we post on there. We post about jobs, we post about programs, we like to post about Tech Tuesday. People reviewed us. So Troy Rodman, who's one of our awesome 5-star volunteers here, he gave us 5 stars, and he wrote a little comment about us about why he thinks People's Resource Center is a 5-star agency. So that's pretty cool. It also talks about similar services that are out there. So if you like our page, maybe you need to be connected with Bridge Communities or Trinity Services or the Cradle. So all different areas that might connect with us or people we connect with. This box down here talks about different organizations that we connect with. So we like United Way, and we like Feeding America and Northern Illinois Food Bank. We should like Bridge, I'm pretty sure. Yep, we've liked them. It just didn't show up in that little 3-piece little snippet profile. So that's pretty much Facebook in a whole. It's a powerful tool. It's a lot of stuff to it. I talked a lot, but now I want to take time for you to do some hands-on activity. So we're gonna shut down the website component of this that we're videotaping for right now, so I can help you individually and answer some questions. Unless anybody has a quick question right now that might pertain to the World Wide Web. Okay, great. We'll go ahead and conclude, and thanks for being here today.